Hello, welcome to Six Train Therapy. I'm DJ MayDay.
And I'm Professor S, your psychotherapist to the stars.
So how was your week?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was
What
good.
was so good about your week?
You mean besides preparing for this podcast?
Hey.
No, it was good. The only thing is, I work from home, and that's really getting to me. I think I just need to get out more. In fact, I did that for the first time in a long time. I did exercise by walking.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, about an hour, and then today I did a little something going to the store. But anyway, I'm making it work. I'm paying attention to making small changes in my behavior.
Okay. All right. Good changes, hopefully. Well,
And I am a man of a certain age. You see all this?
Right.
All of this.
All right,
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead, bro.
Now you're supposed to ask me how was your week.
Do I have to? How was your week?
I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Carlos, DJ MayDay.
DJ MayDay, please.
How was your week?
It was good. It was all right. It could have been better.
How?
There's a lot going on at work, a lot going on at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just action packed. And I got a gig canceled on me this weekend. I was supposed to do that gig.
Okay.
And it got canceled on me. So that kind of.
What was it at the country club? The country club.
No, it was a cocktail party actually.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. So
Champagne glasses and beer money.
I was thinking it was gonna be an easy gig, but got got to pick up the
more.
pieces this week and move into the next week with a more positive kind of attitude.
You'll definitely get more gigs, as it gets warmer.
Yes, for
You'll
sure.
get more
I already
gigs.
got stuff like dates and stuff for this.
Oh, nice,
summer, so
nice.
That's gonna be good.
It's their loss.
Yeah. But anyway, so today this is what we were going to talk about.
Yes.
We were going to talk about viral videos, and we're going to have like certain opinions on stuff. But then stuff got kind of started falling apart. But since we're here, we're going to frame the
Stuff
topic.
fell apart. I
I'm
did
just gonna leave that alone.
to prepare for today's podcast. So let's say you fell apart.
Okay, whatever.
Actually,
We'll
no.
call
If
that-
we take it together. So if it fell apart, it's a we.
It's a we thing.
Not me or he. We.
Right.
You see how I do it? It's like pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm saying?
Is that our, what do they call them? Our,
It's called the Tourette syndrome.
so I'm going to frame the topic.
Yes.
About viral videos. So this is the definition. Viral video is a video that becomes popular through viral process of internet sharing, typically through video sharing, websites such as YouTube and others as well. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. So we were going to pick like videos and kind of talk about, but then, the Chris Rock live special dropped. So we started talking about that. And we kind of wanted to put our spin on that, a little stink on that. So, and kind of related to the things that we talk about.
And also, I'm going to add a little bit of a mental health part around trauma, because to be slapped basically in a form that's seen around the world and you just have to take it, that is a traumatic event. So I'm going to kind of just talk a little bit about that and weave it in, even though I highly recommend folks watch Chris Rock's show.
Yeah,
definitely.
What's it called again?
Selective Outrage.
Selective Outrage. Yeah, and he did it live, which is crazy. Like I'd never even heard of someone doing a live. I mean, I can't remember one anyway. So go ahead, let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Well, I don't even know how to start seriously but basically, I'm just gonna scan my notes. Some of the topics that he talked about was around abortion, his own spoiled kids. Like one of his daughters is going to culinary school in Paris, and she's such a grounded person, but they have a different life than he had, with private schools and so on. He went on to talk about the Kardashians and how all of them basically are involved or have married black men. And he said not any black man, but the craziest black people, bipolar, Kanye, and the other one with the substance abuse problem. So he really went in on that. He went in on Harry and Meghan and how she was so shocked by the racist behaviors of the royal family. And basically Chris said that's not racist that they asked about her kid gonna be brown. He said black people ask how brown the child is gonna be. You know what I mean? You know, we like check behind the ears. That's supposed to be like a signal of how dark the kid is gonna be.
Really?
So he said,
I don't know.
I'm just going by the African American experience, bro.
And I'm asking, is that a real thing?
He said it. It's true.
You heard it.
The whole audience just roared when he said that, because it's true. Maybe not. I mean, maybe not everybody, but people. Those little things that people do, to see all that stuff. I mean,
and know what I noticed too. He seemed a little more ravenous. I mean, he's always kind of been that way, but he just seemed like a little. Like you could see the anger. He was kind of messing up a little too, because he was so mad. Like, and Chris Rock, I mean, he always kind of rants, so he always has like a ranting kind of style. But I felt like this time he was just like,
well, he was ready.
Yeah, he was a little, even foaming at the mouth a little bit. I don't know. If
I didn't catch that.
Like, it was like turning white at the edges. I was like, damn.
Okay, well, hey.
I was like, bro, he's mad.
But you know, the main thing, I think, the energy in his, from my point of view, the energy in the crowd really went up when he started talking about Will and Jada.
I mean, that's why people
like
went
that's
there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, and I think a couple of things he made some really good observations, and one of them is, you know, when he mentioned, you know, entanglement. That's when Jada had a relationship with her son's friend. And in fact, when that kid came into their lives, he actually wasn't doing well physically. He had like a medical problem, and he basically came to stay with them to heal. But there was a relationship that was going on. You know what I mean? So, and then also a piece about he knew, meaning Will, he knew he couldn't do that to a white man. That he knew he couldn't slap a white man like that. You know, and you know, just for interpretation, his career would be gone if he slapped a white person. If he was able to salvage it, I mean, he probably could, but there's a difference in terms of the outrage if he hits a black man versus a white man.
I can't help but I remember when that happened, I couldn't help but feel like, oh, like this is just gonna look bad for us. You know what I mean? It's just feels like, oh man, they're just gonna be like, look at these,
Negroes.
Yeah, and I hated that thought. You know what I mean? And then Chris Rock, even in the special, he says at the end, at the very last part, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, just in case you wanted to see it, but he said,
well, I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't mind spoiling. Go ahead.
You spoil it.
No, go ahead.
You spoil it.
This ain't a brown and black thing, bro. I see where you going. He don't want to start a black and brown and white race war.
There's no race war. But he says,
go ahead. I dare you. I dare you.
I'm not. There's nothing. He didn't say anything that I can't say. That we don't fight in front of white people.
Black people. You should know that black people shouldn't fight in front of white people.
Right.
That's basically. I guess it's okay.
I know it's okay. I couldn't remember it.
See, you got nervous and you forgot. Your brain flatlined.
I was trying to remember.
Your brain flatlined. Anyway, so, and the other thing he said was the reason that he didn't hit back. One of the reasons that he's raised. He said, I was raised by parents, and my mom is the one that said you don't fight in front of white people, and his mom was in the audience. So, like, giving props to her.
Like I remember when he got hit, and I watched it a bunch of times like everybody else, and I could see that when he got hit, after he got hit, he clenched up his fist for a second, and I was like, I mean, I wonder what it would have been like if he would have went with that.
If he had responded, right.
If he would have went with that. I mean, he wouldn't have won. It wouldn't have went on for more than a second anyway, because, people would have jumped in and like stopped him.
And the thing is, the stereotype, right, of black men specifically being violent, and black on black crime. And, it sparks all these black tropes, like right. They're this, they're that. And that was just like played out. On one of the highest levels of media,
and I mean, you couldn't pick. I mean, Will Smith is the American poster boy for like hero, black, white, whatever. He was that guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like to see him like break down, like it just, it just looks so
Well,
bad.
Chris also said he said he loved Will Smith. He said he I forgot, basically supported his career from the very, very beginning. And he was saying that, that Will is significantly bigger than him. And he said he played Ali. He said
I play Pookie.
He said I play Pookie and Pootie Tang. So the little guy. So, and then the other thing was, in one of Will Smith's, I think it's the new one, Emancipation, that during a scene that as part of them doing a particular scene that the white actor spat on him. Just as part of the to get into the role. And he was talking about how he reacted and himself, how he reacted, and the idea that he would allow another actor to spit on him, but yet slap another person, like he's playing the way to kind of navigate.
I mean, they didn't have
his
to
career.
Do all that. They could have CG'd the spit or faked the spit. Or,
well, I don't even know if the spit is in there, but actors can kind of go above and beyond.
Right.
But it was just a comment somebody made, like how to navigate that, but not with a Chris Rock situation.
So is Chris Rock showing signs of trauma? Is this a trauma?
Well, that's a great point. Because a simple version of, a simple definition of trauma is a deeply, I'm looking at my notes. A deeply distressing or disturbing experience. That's a short version. So him being slapped for Chris, I would imagine as a therapist that was a traumatic experience.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a humiliating experience, and it was something that was repeated in the media. So you got to relive it. And I have to say that when I watch it, I do kind of and there's another form of trauma, which is vicarious trauma. That means you're not there, but you're watching it. Or sometimes if you're hearing about it, you too can feel a sense of a traumatic sense, like you're in it. So the whole world had that experience. So yeah, I definitely think that was trauma. I think from past interviews with Will, talking about how he was raised, that reaction could be an aspect of his own trauma.
Right.
Where his father was very violent.
For sure. It definitely seems like he's worked himself into a not a comfortable place. I remember hearing him talk that he's spent his entire life, his childhood, since Fresh Prince and all that stuff, acting.
And trying to be the nice guy.
Right, always pretending.
That persona.
Always pretending, right.
Create a persona.
Never really finding himself.
Right.
And then I think his disjointed relationship with Jada or whatever that is, I don't even know what that is, probably all these things culminated in the slap, and he took it out on Chris Rock. Now, my thing is Chris Rock, is this a healthy thing for Chris Rock to be doing?
I absolutely think so.
Okay. Is that the kind
it's better to do that than to, cut his own throat.
Oh, but what?
Or to fall out on drugs.
Why would it have to be?
No, because people deal with trauma in so many different ways. Some people commit suicide after being traumatized. Like if you've been raped, assaulted in a physical way, if you've been sex trafficked, if you were in a natural disaster and you survived it, or a plane crash and you survived it, people respond to it in very different ways, and some of it can be destructive, and some of it can actually be can strengthen one's resiliency because you figure it out over time how to manage it in a positive way, or even redirect that energy in a positive way. It's not always when you go through a trauma like you're devastated for the rest of your life. But that's where counseling and things like that come in. But it's like if you've gone through a rough situation, some of us will go work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get that energy out and so on. But yeah, I think it was a very therapeutic, what they call a cathartic experience to get it out for him, and especially in his art form.
Yeah, and I guess it's like he needed to kind of address it. He hadn't addressed it at all. Like
for a year,
wanted to know how he felt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I don't know.
He really did.
Yeah.
He really said how he felt.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yes.
Well, that leads us to, you know, the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about.
We're going to pivot.
We're going to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about narcissism. So there was someone on the internet that I started seeing. His name is Lee Hamock, I think his name is. So he's a narcissist, a self-proclaimed narcissist who's
diagnosed. He said he's been diagnosed as a narcissist from a mental health professional.
Right. So, and now he's recording his journey on YouTube and his healing, I guess.
What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. I'm your favorite self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hamock, better known as Mental Healness, across all social media platforms. This is your first time seeing my face or hearing my lovely, lovely voice. I'm a diagnosed narcissist, and I use my platform on social media to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and also to validate the victims, survivors, and thrivers of said disorder, toxic traits, all that other good stuff and bad stuff.
Right. So I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. It's very interesting, but is it falling in line with his issue?
What do you mean?
The narcissism. So just to frame what narcissism is, hold on just a second. I'll just cut.
Come on, work that framework, bro.
Okay. So just a definition of narcissism: a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. For example, narcissists who think the world revolves around them. A symptom of narcissism: have an unreasonable high sense of self-importance and require constant excessive admiration. Feel that they deserve privilege and special treatment. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievement.
Oh, did I do that? I'm sorry.
Make achievements
It's a muscle twitch.
And talent seem bigger than they are. Okay. So I started listening to him and watching him, and I was like, wait a minute, is he, by putting his stuff on YouTube, the fact that he's a narcissist, is that kind of enabling his narcissism?
That's very possible.
So
because he does have his own channel. The interesting thing, though, about this is that, and maybe he's done a lot of work on himself in terms of this diagnosis, but most narcissists are not going to call themselves narcissists. They're not going to, if you told somebody they're a narcissist, they'll say, what the hell are you talking about? What's wrong with you? They'll always flip it back to the person. So I did watch a clip. It might have been the same clip. And he's really giving good information. He's really giving good information. But I think he's really coming from a place of sharing with people who are watching this what is a narcissist, what it looks like, but also how it plays out in his life. And I think it feels like it's a process of him working it out for himself.
Right, it definitely does. It does. To his credit, it does. But I was just wondering, is he on the low feeding his narcissism? You know what I mean? Like,
very possible.
Looking at likes, looking at subscribes. Because, I mean, we all do that anyway, normally. But is it like possibly a negative thing to put it out there, considering you're
I think it's a positive. I think he's, perhaps, I'm not diagnosing him. This is what he's saying. Perhaps that's a healthier way to get his narcissism out, because he's not saying anything derogatory to other people.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not.
He seems very helpful and very informative about his.
Yeah, and let's look at this, right? Because when you think about TikTok, folks, narcissism, like, look at me and let me get enough likes, and my world is better than yours, and I'm prettier than you. I mean, all of that, you have to admit there's a certain narcissistic tendencies,
right?
Especially in the world of social media, is look at me, right?
And like me.
And
tell me how good
and
I
tell
am.
me exactly.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
And I think there was a time when Will Smith gave Jada a birthday party, and she said it was the most self-absorbed thing that she had ever seen from a person or from Will. And in a way, she was basically saying, at least my interpretation, that he was very narcissistic. It was more about him than it was really about her. Like, that wasn't something she even wanted or needed. You know what I mean?
But maybe he was just trying to. I don't know.
I'm just saying that was how she perceived.
Right.
Based on whatever, but just to tie it into narcissism, that could be perceived. He could be perceived as having narcissistic tendencies just by going up there and slapping and thinking that nothing was going to happen to him. And guess what? Nothing happened to him.
I mean, well, he's banned from the Oscars for 10 years. I mean,
big deal.
He already got his. So
big
I feel
deal.
Like,
big deal. They all stood up and clapped for him when he got his Oscar,
right.
and he just slapped somebody.
Well, what would you have done if you were there? If you were in the audience as audience?
No, I would be disturbed. You know who I identify with is Lupita Nyong'o. She was sitting there in the back and going, just bug-eyed and just looked at what was going on. I'm like, that I think is how I would respond, and I definitely wouldn't get up and clap for him as he got his award. But here's the thing: I'm going to talk two sides out of my neck.
You do that a lot. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm withholding my Spanish verbal abusive language. This is not prime time.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go with cállate. That's smooth, right? That's cool. That's cállate, which means shut up. No, what was I gonna say?
I don't know. You talking out the other side of your neck.
Right. Me being there, I might have stood up and clapped. Right, like just because you're in the moment and the pressure, and also if you're your manager or someone who's about to hire you for a movie, and you're standing there and also not saying anything or whatever, who knows? Because in that business, people compromise themselves all the time.
Let's say you got up and walked out. That might be perceived by your whole industry's there, so it might be perceived a certain way.
Exactly.
You don't know how all this is going to fall. So.
That's right. So who knows in the moment? I'd like to say that I'd be just like horrified, but
stand up and be like, "You were wrong."
Right. Cállate. So yeah.
So anyway, I think that's our episode.
Absolutely.
I'm DJ MayDay.
And I'm Professor S, your therapist to the world, to the stars.
Oh my
the
Lord.
world. God damn. I sound like a narcissist.
Oh, just a little bit. Peace and have a good day. And
subscribe.
Comment.
And ring the bell. But there's a bell too, isn't it? So you could be notified. The bell is to be notified.
But you gotta be a subscriber to be notified.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what they usually say. Well, subscribe and okay, whatever. Do all those things that you're supposed to do.
Subscribe. I say comment and then you say like.
Subscribe.
Comment.
Like.
Peace.
Later. God.
I thought that was good.
You did? Okay.